Hey, my friend, it's Keith Kalfas. I didn't say my name right. I'm doing a quote right now. It's $1,700. I just sold and closed this job. We're going to do it in 3 weeks. And I'll walk around this property and I'll show you exactly what I would charge and why I would charge that much, what we're going to do, and give you my thoughts about it. So if you stick around, I promise you, if you're new in the business or even been in like up to 5 years, it might give you a lot of insight. So check this out. We do a lot of property maintenance. We do complete landscape rip out and reinstalls too. We do anything from 700 all the way up to 20,000 bucks, right? But this is a standard property maintenance. So all of these barberry shrubs right here and these yew shrubs, we're going to trim everything. We're trimming these arborvitaes back here, and the point of these is like a cascade effect. So you want the barberries to be shorter, so when you're standing back you can easily see the green shrubs. So we're going to trim more off the barberries, trim and shape everything, and pull all the weeds. This black diamond commercial grade edging looks really good, but this mulch is piled so high in the beds that I gave the customer a quote to remove the mulch and put it in wheelbarrows and get it off the property. So I'm going to charge the same amount as I would install it, for $150 per yard, and I estimated about 2 yards of mulch. I actually overestimated just a tiny bit because I know once you get in under the bushes and stuff, there's going to be more than what I thought there would be. Like here, it's pretty high. We're also going to remove these carpet juniper shrubs, just too many of them, so we're going to just yank them out, cut them, dig out the roots and everything. We might even tie the rope to the truck and pull and just gently yank them out. We're going to put a nice natural edge here, and this looks like a big this tree right here, the way it's trimmed, wow, oh my god, this is a birch tree, but it's been trimmed to look like a big ornamental tree, which is kind of crazy, but is what it is. We're just going to trim this off the house and off the gutter, remove all this mulch, clean this up. So when I'm looking at this, removing mulch or installing it is $150 per yard, and standard trimming goes bound to the man hour. Even though I'd like to get and charge $82.50 per man hour, what I normally get in the quotes after I do all my math at my 50% closing rate, which is out of every 100 jobs I go out and actually give a customer a quote for, which are called qualified leads, we close half of them right now. Okay, so that's about a pretty good measurement. Getting about $65 per man hour of billable hours on the job site. So, and then if we're doing a day rate, we're going to be here all day. If it's if it's 3 guys working, the day rate's $1,200. It's called T&M. You might have to rewind this, but T&M is time and materials. So if you're like, well, what do I charge? Well, if there's 3 guys working, then you charge whatever your day rate is, because you got to figure out your workers' comp and your man hour and your payroll and all your overhead and cost of goods sold and all these things. I don't want to overwhelm you. But if I say $1,200, what is that? 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. with the lunch. It's just $1,200 per day. And if there's going to be materials, you add materials on top of that, and then you probably might have to do a markup on materials as well. You got to figure that out for yourself. But anyways, if I'm looking at trimming all these shrubs, and it's just some light pruning, these grasses, we're looking at $350 to trim up the foundation shrubs around the house, trim up these rows of Sharons, these Weigelias over here, and then these shrubs over here. So I mean, I look and I can trim all these shrubs in an hour and a half. Now I value my time at $250 an hour when I'm personally working. So if I have employees here working and I'm paying them, say, 20 bucks an hour, I'm billing that 3 times the amount. So 60, 65 bucks an hour. If it's me working by myself, you as the owner, if you're working, every minute that you spend working doing labor is a minute that you're not out selling work and bringing in more business or doing the marketing and advertising, doing the dollar generating activities in the business. So I think that you should value your work at least 100 bucks an hour. You got to figure that out for yourself. But it's kind of like you shoot for the stars, hit the moon. We're freaking doing landscape maintenance here. We're not building robots, right? So you're not going to get $1 million. These guys in the comments, they'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe you charge $1,700 for that. I get $3,500 all day, man, you're an idiot. And then the next guy goes, oh my god, you got $1,700 in my city. I could only get like $500 for all that. I want to move to your city. I don't even know. Figure out for yourself. Edge out the garden beds, clean everything up, and then we're gonna install 3 yards. Actually, it's 2.5 yards of black mulch, but the landscape supplier I go to, they won't sell a half yard. They only sell whole yards. So I gotta get a whole yard and charge for a whole yard, and then find a place to put it. I don't want to pile the mulch in the garden beds, but I can't do half yards anymore. So I'm gonna make it work, right? So 2.5 yards of black mulch. Now we got to clean all this up. It's all piled. Anywhere around that it's piled, we're gonna pitchfork it and clean it out and blow it out, trim all this stuff up and put new mulch. These rocks right here, it's not part of the quote to fix any of this, but if I'm in here just cleaning it out, I might adjust them so just everything looks clean, blow everything down. All right, so now around this pool, I give customers separate quotes for stuff like this. They got this nice pool, but there's a lot of weeds growing, and this is Spanish tile stone, and they want to quote like, how do we fix this? So this is where I start asking the customer questions, being like, well, what is your outcome? What do you want? Like, if you want to go like the fastest, cheapest route, well, I'm going to tell you what could go wrong. Because, or if you want to do it like what we call the right way, which is the most expensive way, the customer might not want to do that right now. They might just want to enjoy their pool for the summer, right? So if I start pulling all, if you want to pull all the weeds out around a pool, look at this. As soon as I go to pull this, look at all that dirt coming out. Look at all this dirt. Literally, I mean, you're gonna pull up dirt and oh, look at that. How in the heck are we gonna pull all this and save the rocks? So that's why it's important during a quote, if you're unsure, bend down and grab it and start pulling on it. Take a shovel with you. Don't shoot yourself in the foot, because in order to get experience, you got to make mistakes, but don't make really expensive mistakes. So I said, if I go around and pull all these weeds, it's going to mix like salt and pepper with dirt, and it's going to get even worse. So the first thing is, look at this 20-pound felt weed barrier fabric, is to rip out everything completely gone, put brand new edging, brand new fabric, brand new Spanish tile stone, and you'll be good. And you're looking at like $3 grand to do that. And sometimes customers will be like, what, $3 grand? Well, I got to pull out all the stone, and I got to separate it from the dirt and the fabric and put that in and take it to different dump sites, and I got to take all this stuff and then re-prep everything, regrade it, go get fabric and pins and brand new, and reinstall everything and make it all literally perfect, and then top dress with brand new tile stone. Should be about, you could fit an entire ton of tile stone around this pool. It doesn't look like it, but if you go and do all your measurements. So we're like, why is it $3 grand? Because it's so time consuming and labor expensive. Then you're messing with these landscape lights and the wires underneath, and are they working or not? You got to put them back in the same. It just, that's why it is, because I've done this stuff so many times. I know what goes into it. So I gave him another option. It was like, okay, if you just want to make it look good for this year, we can pull all the weeds and literally just top dress with a half a ton of Spanish tile stone. Now I give it 3 months, and you're going to see little weeds starting to pop out, and then by middle of next year, you're going to have weeds working their way right through it again, because it's literally on top of stone and dirt. But, and then I gave him a price for that. I think it was $550. So how I charge for stone is I just take the price of it. I think this is like $250. The price is always changing and going up, so it could be $250 to $350. Every time you go to the landscape supply, get the book of their updated pricing for that year and reflect off the book. So if I say this is just 300 bucks for a ton, this Spanish tile stone, how much are you going to charge to install it? Are you going to charge double, right? Or are you going to go off of some type of man-hour rate pricing? I take materials and stone and I'll double it or triple it. It depends on the stone and how cheap or how expensive it is. Because if you do just like cheap drainage stone, you could pay as small as like 80 bucks a ton for it. Are you going to charge a customer $900 to install a ton of drainage stone that you could just literally install it in an hour? How long does it take you to go get it? You got to figure all this stuff out for yourself. So I'm taking the price of this and I'm doubling it. So if it's $250, it's going to be $500 to install. Sorry, no. Here's my next piece of math. Anything over 1 ton of stone in my business, that we just gonna do wheelbarrows and shovels requires having a dingo or a machine on a job site, which is $400 per day. So if it's 2 tons of stone, there's gonna be an extra $400 to get that moved by a machine. So I take the price of this and I tripled it, because so it's almost like it's not the same as much as a machine, but I take the price and I triple it in my business, because I have to go all the way up to 31 Mile in Van Dyke to get it from Rocks and Roots Landscape Supply. You don't know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of far. And I got to wait in line, then I got to weigh it. I got to make sure my trailer is spotless clean, so I got to dump first, and I got to broom and brush out my whole trailer and blow it out every nook and cranny so there's no stone mixing the dirt. Then I got to wait in line, and then I got to get a half a ton of stone and drive all the way back. All right, wheel all the stuff back here. So guessing at 300 bucks a ton, a half a ton is 150 times 3 is $450 to get a half a ton of stone just simply dumped and installed right here, plus $50. And then you get dumping fees, because we got to go through with scissors and cut all the little fabric that's sticking up, which is another 50 bucks. It's $550 to go through, pull all the weeds, cut the fabric with scissors, clean all this up, and then get a half a ton of stone dumped in here. $550. So sometimes the customer might be like, oh my God, it's $550 just for you to pull the weeds and dump some stone. No, we're not doing that. We're cutting. I'm not saying this, my customer says that. I'm just saying you got to rationalize all this stuff in your head and have facts and math to back it up, because once you have that, then you become confident, and you have to almost make the mistakes and go through all this stuff and lose money before you actually grow the backbone to get confident by making the mistakes. So when I speak about something that I know because I've done it and I've made the mistakes, then I'm confident in the price, because I know exactly what goes into this. It's $550. I've done this a bunch of times. It's kind of like a take it or leave it type thing, because I want to do a good job and I don't want to cut any corners. Like, this is your business. These are your customers. They're trusting you with their hard-earned money. So $550 to cut everything, you know, all this. We're like, no, well, why don't you pull it away? Like, dude, listen, I'm going to take scissors and cut all this. Actually, my worker, because how am I going to fix that? I mean, I guess I could fix this piece right here, because it is like just, but then look at this dirt piled up. So are you going to put stone and then it's going to start flipping out? Like, what do we do? So I have to assess it. If I can easily fix an area, I'm going to, but I'm going to take scissors and cut all this and pull the weeds, and we're going to put the stone in. 550 bucks. Now, over here, whenever you give customers a quote, I'm just going to finish what I was saying. And we're going to clean up these edges and mulch these tree rings. So it's 1,700 bucks. So 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So 1,150 of it is trimming the shrubs, pulling the weeds, removing and putting down new mulch. And then the other 550 is fixing the rocks around the pool. Can we do this all in a day? Yes. If you got 2 guys working while you're like running and grabbing the stone and stuff, if it's just you and another guy, you can do it if you work a long day, no problem. You just hustle and you can get it done. That's the next thing I think about whenever I'm doing quotes, is how long does stuff actually take versus how long do you hope it's gonna take. Are you thinking about the unexpected flat tire in the morning? Are you thinking about you having to be stuck in the truck for an hour answering phone calls or neighbors walking up? What are you thinking about? So you got to calculate and build all these things into your quote to make it work so you still make money. But here's the problem. What if your competition isn't thinking about that stuff and they're undercharging too? Back to what I was saying. I'm charging an amount to where it's fair to the customer. They know it's not the cheapest quote, so they're confident that they're going to get a good job done. And they're also like, they're paying what the job is worth, and you're charging what the job is worth, and you're still making enough money to make you happy.
Start recording video.
On top of the it's my dash cam. On top of all the quoting and stuff, there's this last thing that I think of, and let me know in the comments below. It's my gut feeling. So if I'm giving a quote, in my heart and in my gut, I want to feel this feeling. It feels like almost like you're jumping over a hurdle. If it feels like this anxiety feeling it gives me, like, ugh, I didn't quote it, and I'm not going to make enough money. Like, you feel like you're rushing and it gives you anxiety. I don't even want that job. I hate that feeling. I want to feel like I'm over the hurdle or over that wall to where it's like, I feel good about this. I want to do this. It's going to be fun. I'm going to make money, and it's a fair job to the customer. And that feeling also makes you say, well, now that I'm making good money, let's hustle and get this done so I can make really good money. Versus like, I have to hustle because if I don't, I won't make any money. Like screw that. Now, I think you can only afford to do that if you have enough leads coming in, which is marketing and all that stuff. I have a free 7 steps to marketing your business. If you do need help getting leads, go to keithkalfas.com/7 steps. I'll put a link in the description below, and you get my free PDF download. It's like the 7 things you need to do right now to market your business. And then what happens when you download that, you'll get the thing, but it's also going to bump you to a sales page that says, it's called my business marketing blueprint online course. It's like, I think it's like a one-time offer. It's like